Hello, everybody. Welcome along. It is predictions time. There is a score to be settled here because this guy has been ribbing me all season. We're going to find out who comes out on top. Welcome, EFL legend, part of that QPR promoted team back in the day, Jamie Mackie. Are you ready for this?
I'm always ready to take you on, pal. I love
right.
it.
The question is, do you want to go first? Do you want to go second, or shall we round robin it?
No, let's round robin it, mate. Make it fair. I don't want you crying next weekend.
Right, I will begin then, and we're going to start with Friday night's game. It's Blackpool versus Millwall. Both need the points for very different reasons. Blackpool just still hanging on in there, trying to survive. Millwall need wins to secure that playoff position, having dropped off a little bit. I just wonder whether their greater need will see them through, Jamie. So I'm going to back Millwall. I don't know what that result will do for Blackpool. It might send them down, actually. I'll have to wait and do the maths. But I'll go 2-1 Millwall. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, mate, I have to agree with you. It's one of those good fixtures this weekend where there's kind of something on it for both clubs where later on we're going to have discussions about other clubs not having anything to play for. So I think for both of them, they're going to be scrapping. I think Millwall haven't been in the greatest of form, I agree, but they have to win this game. Blackpool, again, they have given themselves a chance. It's a really interesting fixture, but I do have to lean with Millwall. But I can't see Blackpool scoring because I think Millwall might get the lead and they're quite hard to break down after that. So I'll go 1-0 Millwall.
Let's move on to Bristol City versus Burnley. Speaking of games with nothing on them, Bristol City on the beach, Burnley in the pub, basically since Wednesday or Tuesday night, hasn't it? How do you see this one going?
I hope they've been in the pub.
Yeah, right.
Well deserved as well. Look, the one thing I'd say is one of the main reasons I feel Burnley have been this amazing this season, Ben, is the intensity and the culture that Vincent Kompany has set upon his side. And I think that I know they're fully and rightly so are going to be looking at their champions. But I do think that he still brings that element of we're playing a game of football and he wants to win everything. They've also got on the table here the possibility of getting over 100 points. I do feel that him as a manager and the players, it is him more so than the players, I believe, that, you know, it's a brilliant milestone to achieve. But Bristol City have been good at times as well. But I'll go Burnley still, but I'll go 2-1.
Good, because you explained my exact thinking, and I thought you were going to go 3-1 as well, like I'm going to go. But yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. I think it'll be nice and loose, and I think that just suits Burnley, and I think they'll cruise in 3-1. In this one, Coventry City versus Birmingham. Now, Coventry are in the playoff spot, and then they go to Middlesbrough away on the last day of the season. They really need to win this one. So I'm going to back Coventry, and I think they might win by 2, Jamie. 2-0 Coventry.
I keep glancing down, mate, because it's so interesting the table at this point. I think, look, I've been so impressed. Mark Robins, I feel at times with a lot of, shall we say, younger coaches have got the limelight this season. But what an amazing job, mate! Disarray the club at the start of the season, playing catch up, and with Hamer and Gyökeres. I'm a huge fan of both of them, particularly Gyökeres. So I'm going to go 3-0 Coventry. I saw them against QPR. They won 3-0 on that day. They obviously with Gyökeres up top and the way they're playing to try and cement themselves in the playoffs. I fancy goals.
Let's go to Hull versus Swansea. Inform Swansea. If Swansea fans don't know, Jamie Mackie loves Swansea. So I think I know what's coming, but give me your prediction.
I am very fond of Swansea with the players they've got, and particularly their manager, Russell Martin, as you well know. I also have to say, though, I'm hugely impressed by Rossini at Hull. And I do say this, I know we're talking about this season, but I do think next season they're going to be a very good side under him. From people I've spoke to, how diligent he is and how hungry he is to succeed and play a certain way of football. I think they're going to be good. I just think that Swansea, maybe a little bit too late, but have been fantastic. So, thing is, Hull have got an amazing keeper on loan now in Carl Darlow as well, Ben. So, I've got split loyalties. It's look, just for a football head on, I'll have to go. I think it'll be a really, really entertaining game of football, by the way. And I'm struggling with this prediction because I don't know. I'm going to go 2-2.
He can't go against Darlow. Brilliant. I'm gonna jump in on the Swansea win then. If you're not doing it, I totally agree with one thing you said. Brilliant run. It's probably just going to be too late, isn't it? I think they'll just fall short. I think loads of results would need to go in Swan's favour and need to win the last two. But I'll go for them to win this one, and I will go low margin 1-0. And God, I've got to do this one first. Reading versus...
That's not 1-0. That's not 1-0 game. And I'm going to have to change my... Can I change your prediction?
Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
When it was a hard one for me to get in my head, like Yuri Geller. I'm trying to tap in. But I'm actually going to say Swansea are that flying at the moment, full of confidence. I think they win the game, actually. But I'm going to say 2-1.
Right, you're going 2-1. I'm going 1-0. Yeah. And we're going to move on to this mass relegation head-to-head. It's Reading versus Wigan. We're going to kind of just clinging on by their fingernails, but I think we all think that they're going to go in the end. Reading, your former club, Jamie, just have to win. And I think they probably will. I think they'll get a big crowd the occasion they'll play it. And the only way I can see them winning is 1-0. So I will go 1-0 Reading, a vital win in the relegation battle.
When you look at Wigan, I think Reading have got so much riding on this game and a realistic chance of getting out of it only if they win this game. And I just think when you're in that situation, you try and find that extra little bit. Like you say, them being at home, I think probably getting a bigger crowd, like you mentioned, I agree with you, than in the season. I'm going to say Reading win it and make it super interesting for the last game. And I think they might win it 2-0.
Beautiful stuff. So if we think the Burnley players are going to be hungover, the Sheffield United players are probably going to be even more hungover because that was an extra night. Sheffield United versus Preston, Jamie.
Mate, they're on cloud 9. Getting promoted to the Premier League, Ben, it's a special feeling. And I just think how soon the game's coming, it's kind of been a game where a celebration's just going to carry on. And it's so small, the margins in this division, that if you're just not quite at those levels against a really hungry Preston side who have to win, I just see it going Preston's way. On this occasion, I'm going to go 1-0 Preston.
I think both teams are going to score, but I agree with your logic on how you think it's going to play out. If I'm remembering this correctly, last time Sheffield United went up, they had the party day at Stoke and they drew 2-2. I don't think I'm misremembering that. So I'll go for it, the same thing to happen. I know they're away then, but they're at home this one. And 2-2. And the one that maybe you have the biggest vested interest in here, Stoke City versus QPR. And I've got to go first, haven't I? Incredible win against Burnley. God knows how that happened. Even looking at all the numbers afterwards, I still don't know how it happened. Yeah. But that was so vital for QPR. I just wonder if off the back of that, they might get another point in this one. And Stoke are on the beach. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this one and QPR to kind of see themselves over the line. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the win kind of against all odds of where Burnley has taken, albeit them not safe yet, it's just taken so much pressure off the club with a group that hasn't won and been on a terrible run. I think going away at Stoke just becomes a lot harder. I just think now a little bit less pressure still there. I tend to agree with you. I think it's going to be a draw, but I'll go a bit higher scoring draw because I can't take the same result as you. I'll go 2-2 in this game. I think both teams are likely to concede goals. But both equally have got a couple of talented players who could score. So I think 2-2 and a point would see QPR enough over the line now.
Sunderland versus Watford. Sunderland, real chance of taking a playoff spot now. Watford can't make the playoffs, and I just can't help feeling that any little drip of intensity they had in that dressing room will be completely gone now, won't it? So, what do you reckon, Sunderland, Watford?
No, I fancy Sunderland in this. Like, definitely fancy Sunderland. I think they're such a good team to watch. The technical players. I thought with Ross Stewart getting injured, I think we spoke about it earlier in the season, and it'd be a big miss to potentially get him over the line. But the 4 or 5 guys technically behind, whether it's Roberts, Pritchard, the other day they both came off the bench late, and they kind of slot in the same way as Clark and the other boys who play there, who I'm really impressed with. So I think with the attacking intent that they've got, I think Watford are completely at sea here at the moment. It doesn't seem a great place to be for some reason. Oh, well, obviously, like we know, off the park's always there, but that's where they're at. I'm going to go 2-0 Sunderland.
Good, because I think Watford will score, but I agree with every other word you said. So I'll go 2-1, because we always just got to assume that despite it being a bit stinky, there's still quality there at Watford, isn't there? West Brom versus Norwich. They can still both get in the playoffs, but I don't know whether they're favoured. 2 of the parachute teams here. West Brom obviously played last night, didn't they? We're recording on Thursday. I wonder whether we get completely unhelpful draw here, Jamie, and I haven't played a 0-0. So I'm going to play a 0 on this one, and no help to anybody. What do you reckon, West Brom, Norwich?
No, I see it going West Brom's way. I think that last night was a big ask at Sheffield United. They full house there, hoping to see celebrations, and that's what they got. The intensity in the second half, I think, got them over the line. I think that Norwich are shipping goals, mate, which you'll be happy to see. No
Stop it! No, I'm completely impartial. You know.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But they are shipping goals, mate, and it was a damaging loss for me last weekend against Swansea, who were excellent on the day, but at home to concede 3 and not even be in the game at all. I think that I see West Brom winning this, but potentially with a Norwich goal. I will go 3-1 to West Brom.
Love it. Right, you've got a distinct advantage in this one.
You will love it. You will love it if it is 3-1.
We're only looking at one game on Saturday, but I'll talk to you about that when we're done with the predictions. Cardiff v Huddersfield, and we will bow to your expert knowledge here of Neil Warnock and how he's going to approach this. Can he get the vital win?
Wow. I mean, this is the fixture, right? It's big.
By the way, sorry to interrupt, Jamie. We're recording this before Cardiff visit Rotherham tonight, so we don't have all the context completely set. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that obviously knowing that they're playing tonight, I feel gives Huddersfield an advantage in terms of turnover. Albeit Huddersfield actually haven't played for a while compared to the other sides. And it's, when you're in this position, you want to play the games. You're desperate to just play the games. But I think given the fact that Neil Warnock gets more time with them, going back to one of his old clubs where it was a huge success again, I don't know because of tonight, Ben, because if Cardiff win, the momentum going into that, but then at the same time, if they do win with a quick turnover, the game's almost more important for Huddersfield at that stage. So I can see, just because he manages a way to get results in difficult times, and I can see it being a really close game, but I think that I'm going to go Huddersfield, and I think I'm going to go 2-1 to Huddersfield.
Yeah, it's almost 2 predictions in one, isn't it? So I get exactly what you're saying. I think Cardiff might win tonight, and then you're right about the turnaround, but then do they drop off a little they're 3 points ahead and they've moved up a bit. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with them getting a positive result tonight. Little bit of intensity drops off them. Warnock capitalises. I was going to say 2-1 with Huddersfield coming from behind. So the other way they do it is a nice Shahouzy 1-0 with a set play or something. So I'll go 1-0 Huddersfield. But don't worry, Cardiff fans, because I think that's with the caveat they might get a good result tonight. Speaking of which, again, Rotherham versus Middlesbrough. And if I've just said, I think Cardiff might get a good result tonight, that could be really bad for Rotherham, especially being they've got Borough to play. But Jamie, he started taking the first teamers out. I think he's already prepping for playoffs, Carrick. He's not stupid. I think he's playing the long game here. So I'll go for Rotherham to get a point on that basis. I'll go 1-1. What do you reckon, Rotherham Borough?
Yeah, I mean, look, to be honest with you, I would have gone 1-1. I totally agree with you. I think that people talk about momentum going into the playoffs, which is a big thing. But at the same time, that's usually from the last team that sort of, there's always, who sort of just comes up a bit late, flying on a really good run and gets in the playoff as a little bit of an outsider. And
so that could be Sunderland, yeah?
Yeah, someone like that, where they've been good all season, but they've gone on a really good run at the right time. They get into there full of confidence, buoyant about the way they're playing. I think Middlesbrough are being more meticulous than that in exactly what you're saying. A couple of the players have played most of the minutes since Michael Carrick's got there. They've got a very defined and comfortable way of playing now under Michael Carrick. So I think that if he makes changes, it doesn't matter too much. You've gone 1-1, Benny. You've stolen it off me, mate. Well played.
You can double up if you want.
It doesn't seem right. It's so strange to say that I'd back Rotherham against Middlesbrough because Middlesbrough have been fantastic. And I wouldn't normally do. I don't think that's the case. It's just Rotherham, I feel, have to win that game. So I'm going to have to agree with you and go 1-1, actually.
Last one, and again, we're completely up the creek with this because this is Monday night. It's Blackburn versus Luton, and we have no idea what the context will be in terms of the playoff race.
What did we say about?
I think we had Borough possibly slipping up. You had West Brom winning. You had Sunderland winning. And I think you had Preston winning as well. So you got a lot of pressure on Blackburn in your predictions.
Yeah, I have. And I think, again, Luton, brilliant this season, clearly. I just think that, again, it's an opportunity for anyone with niggles, anyone who has played a lot of minutes. It's a perfect time to go, look, this isn't our game in a way. It's obviously they'll still be extremely professional and the players who are playing, that's why you've got a squad. But I do think changes will be made and Blackburn have to win. So I'm going to go 1-0 Blackburn.
I totally agree with your logic. And yeah, that's the one where it's like, don't even travel. Leave a couple of key players, just back at home and start really prepping for that playoff, especially having beaten Middlesbrough and looks like third place is, probably there. So I agree with you. What did you go for, Jamie? Did you go 2-1?
No, I went 1-0.
Okay, I'll go 2-1 in that case. I'll go for Luton to score. And we are at the end of the predictions. Do let us know down in the comments, preferably before the games, how you see everything going. Jamie, the leaderboard has Matt Holland up at the top of it. Your good mate, Joby McAnuff, got 13, I think. Do you think you can outscore him?
No. I'll tell you why. Because I think that the logic behind how we've worked them out is good. But these guys, there's 3 or 4 games there with both sides have got massive skin in the game, and I think that how can you predict it? It's very difficult. I think that the way I feel it should play out, I think my predictions have gone with that. So it's the Championship, Ben.